Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride. Today Rob and I here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're at the SEMA show and we're here with Justin with, yes, I know, Skinny Guy Campers. This is well, you'll see why I liked it when I spotted it. So, you got a couple different models. What model is this one?
So this is our 6.5 foot model.
Okay.
6.5 foot on a full size pickup.
Yeah, now in actuality, I mean, this is your product right up here, the Skinny Guy Camper, but you did have the truck, the bed sort of custom made with another group.
Correct. So,
to match your tent.
That's correct. So the truck was built by Tactical Application Vehicles out of Albuquerque. The bed is actually a Bowen Customs. They're out of Colorado. Okay. We had the truck built by TAV with the Bowen for the SEMA show, and then it was upfitted with one of our 6.5 foot campers.
All right. So you can customize what you put this on, I guess is my point. This will actually fit in a standard pickup.
It does, it does. In fact, most of the time that's exactly what we put it on. When we take it to the overland shows or we take it out camping, it is always on just a regular pickup.
Because it's a typical, you slide it in, strap it down,
sure.
Right? Ratchet it down,
yeah,
just
absolutely.
like a typical camper we think of on an in-bed camper.
That's correct.
Okay, can we take a look at the inside because there's some really neat things back here.
Sure.
For instance, all the storage.
Yeah.
I mean, so not only do you have the camper in there, but then you still got a bunch of storage. I mean, that's a big spare tire.
Yeah, so this is a 37-inch tire, which is the match to this truck. But more importantly, what we do on each one of our camper designs in every one of our trucks is we actually design it around like a deck drawer system or
right where you
system.
Pull out.
Yeah, correct. And you can leave it. You can leave it just like this, but the camper actually rides above the wheel wells inside the normal truck.
Which is that's a good point because you got that super wide floor. But I mean, yeah, if you had those recessed, pull out drawers. I mean, you could have because it goes way back in there.
Sure.
Right, and you may not be able to access all that when you're just have it this way.
That's great.
So wow, that is really cool. Now, while we're here, let's talk about what you have here and then here.
So what we have back here is basically the floor of the camper is here. So the floor of the camper is basically level with the top of the truck bed.
Right here. Okay.
Anything below that is what we kind of call our basement. And our basement houses freshwater tanks and our blackwater tank if you get a flushing toilet, which we'll show you. And then it also houses any of the plumbing components. And the plumbing components you can see kind of come out the back here. So we have a macerator and the body waste termination, which is how you would evacuate anything in that blackwater tank. Floor drain for our interior floor drain for our shower. Okay. And then we have the macerator switches, heated tank switches for keeping those freshwater tanks warm in colder weather. And then we have a freshwater intake. We use that for winterization processes, and then a freshwater tank drain for a winterization process.
So you also have then up here, this has heat?
That's correct. So this is a 20-pound horizontal propane tank. This can be removed so you can have it filled, and this is propane is used for our Truma Combi heater, and it's also for our single burner stove that we use
there, which we'll take a look at in a minute.
Sure.
Because we were talking earlier just a little bit, but one of the ideas that you had was to take the whole everything that's say in an RV and put it in a small package.
That's correct.
Because and you'll see that. I mean, it's pretty amazing all that this thing has. Which brings me to your solar panel that's hanging off right here. We were talking about battery management earlier.
Sure.
Which is always a concern when you're sort of off-grid, off-road. So, with the solar panel, you have about 10 watts of charging per hour, roughly.
Roughly.
So this is, I mean, if you were out and had good sun, this would pretty much keep your battery charged.
It does. It does a really good job. Depending on what you're running in the camper, it will charge the battery. If not, it will maintain everything that's going on in the camper.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there can be a lot going on in this particular camper.
It can.
Now, your camper is designed to charge several ways.
Sure, that's correct. So with our battery management system, it can charge from the solar, which we're discussing. It can charge from the truck battery. or from the truck alternator when it's running down the road, or it can. We also have a shore power system
Okay.
that it'll charge from.
And it's smart. You use the what's it called Red Arc.
It's a Red Arc Manager 30,
Okay.
and it's really kind of a voodoo kind of system the way it works. It really takes all of that power and kind of ramps that depending on where it's coming from, that power, and just ramps it up. It can ramp it up to 30 amps and shove it into a lithium battery, which is amazing. So
they are lithium batteries.
And we use a lithium.
Okay.
You don't have to, and that's what's great about the Red Arc is you can choose what type of battery you want to use. So,
all right, let's take a look on the inside of it. I don't know if you want to go up there.
Sure, we'll go up. I'll go up inside. We can talk about that.
All right, so you got there's like a 10-pound in a 1-pound bag. Maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here.
Okay, so starting right here, the most obvious thing you're going to see is a ladder I'm standing on, right? That just folds up and goes in here.
Sure.
Okay, nice carpet, by the way.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a just a marine material.
I was going to say, this is what we see in boats.
Sure, and it dries pretty quickly, and it just kind of repels the water, which is great for our floor drain, so when you shower on the inside. So.
Okay, and to the shower.
Shower drain, a shower port, so this is a bullfinch. You can just kind of turn this back and forth to get hot and cold water out of it. Then it's completely removable. You can just coil up the hose, stick it in one of our storage compartments. It's out of the way.
Okay, and the idea is you would just shower outside the vehicle.
Absolutely. The hose is plenty long enough to get it outside, so you can shower outside in one of the shower tent if you choose, and absolutely could do that. All
right, now right where your arm is the bathroom.
That's right. So we have a flushing toilet in this one. This is an option in this 6.5.
Okay.
You couldn't get a porta potty, but in this particular version, we have our flushing toilet. 20 gallons of black water below.
Okay, that's decent.
Yeah,
that's very decent.
Next to that, we have a little bit of storage.
Okay, I was looking for a storage area. I can see that. You must have it under that bench as well. Then
and right on the
that probably hides electronics.
This one's actually a little bit of storage, and then next to that is the electronics.
Okay. All right, you got a swiveling table that swivels multiple different directions.
Correct. That's a lagoon table leg, and we have just a small table there. You can sit around, play cards, eat a nice meal.
Hey, you also have a cooler in the corner. Is that electric cooler?
Yeah, so that is actually a 12-volt Dometic CFF 30-liter refrigerator.
Okay. Oh yeah. So there you go. There's refrigerator.
Right. Yeah, and it works really well. And you can actually turn that down to be a freezer, or it can be a refrigerator. We use it almost always just for a refrigerator.
Okay. So. Now, right below that, you've got your Red Arc controller, but then you've also got a couple other things. So walk us through that.
So in the face of this, depending on the options that you get for a trim level, this one actually has everything. So you have a Red Arc controller. This is going to tell you your input for your solar or from your shore power. It kind of tells you where you're at with your battery.
Okay.
And then below that is our Truma. The Truma is what we use for our heat source and for our hot water.
Okay.
And that's how you can turn that on and off. And then next to that is the Xantrex. The Xantrex is it's a 1,000-watt inverter, so it inverts the power from the 12-volt. We have some switches that turns on the lights and the water pump.
Okay.
And then as you lift up the lid into that space, that's how you can access all those electronics. And your inverter.
Man, compact, but all there, all those basic things. Now you got a stove and a sink. Explain that.
So next to our refrigerator, it kind of finishes off our kitchen area. So we use quick disconnects in just below the sink stove area. So we have a single burner stove and a sink with a faucet that folds down, very compact, and everything can be connected there. And then that whole kitchen module, along with the refrigerator, actually sits down onto the floor, so you can fold the camper up.
Oh, that's how that works. Okay, so you just fold it down.
That's right. You
and
just
everything
connect
folds
everything.
flat.
That's correct.
Holy schmoly! Now, how easy is it to get this thing down?
So the process on that is simply setting down the kitchen module, the refrigerator, the table folds down, and then there's the bed bow, or the bow in the center has to come down, so there's just 2 clamps here.
Yep.
Those come down and they slide down. The mattress has a strap on it, so we strap the mattress so it doesn't fall out of it. And then we take the ladder apart and it slides in, and then there's a push rod. Take the 2 bed supports off and a push rod, and the whole thing folds up together.
And then you got a hard
latch
cover
it down
right here with these latches. Man,
3 minutes. The deployment.
3 minutes.
3 minutes to tear it down.
Be a lot better.
And you're
than
on the road.
Yeah, that'd be a lot better than a 10.
And if there's a bear chasing you, you can do it a lot faster.
You know this somehow. Okay. Well, let's step out of. There's a couple other things I want to talk about. Okay, so one of the things I want to talk about is just like what's under here.
Okay, so this front compartment is actually where we house our winch. So we have kind of a unique system in the way we tie our campers down.
Okay.
So in the front compartment we have a winch. This winch actually goes in this corner and then is over in the other front corner.
Okay.
We have a pillar system that we use on all of our truck beds, and the pillar system actually slides like this.
Okay.
It's a thin plate, and the thin plate slides up underneath the lip of the truck.
Okay.
And on the lip of on each one of those plates, it's an angle at the top and at the bottom. The bottom angle bolts to the bottom of the truck bed. The top angle actually is drilled out, and then there's a pin that's placed in the camper. The pin actually is then placed inside the hole that you drill out, and that pin prevents the camper from sliding side by side or front to back.
Okay.
And it actually is great because what it does is it actually helps the user locate the camper every time when they want to set it. So that they can back their truck up, get it lined with the pin in the hole, and then drop the camper right into place so they're always in the correct location when they put their camper on.
Nice. Okay.
And then this is used to tie it down, of course.
Right, yeah, to tie it up. Okay. Now, to demonstrate this next thing, this is a sort of a concept you're working with right now, right? It's not completely finished, but I really like the idea. This is that 6-foot version?
This is 6.5.
Okay, and this is
also a 6.5.
Okay, so this is the camper we were just in.
Correct.
But you mounted it on a trailer.
Correct.
So, I mean, you could then theoretically tow your camper.
Yeah.
Or take this off, put it in your pickup, and use this as a trailer.
That's correct. Yeah.
And you still have that amazing storage space underneath.
Yeah.
That you have in a pickup.
That's it. So the idea behind this was, we have a lot of people that love the concept, but they don't have a pickup. Mm-hmm. So they want to be able to take and buy a camper, but they don't have a pickup. So we want to give them a docking trailer so they can buy a skinny guy. We make the camper or the trailer as affordable as we can so they can mate the two. If they want to take the camper off and still be able to use the trailer, they can still use the trailer for utility purposes, and then they can bring it back and then mount the camper for the weekend.
Yeah, because all you need are the posts that go in and jack them up and then drive away.
Every one of our trim levels comes with those, so they can leave this sit, use this during the week to do work stuff, come back, put the camper on it, and use it for the weekend.
Which I think is terrific. You're not having to buy two different things and have that constantly used up by that one thing when you don't use it all the time.
That's right. That's right.
And it's got some serious clearance on it.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, Justin, thank you so much for spending your time with us.
My pleasure.
Thank
you.
This is an amazing camper system. I absolutely love, the solar panel extension part and all of the things that you managed to take from an RV and put in there and make them functional.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much. We
absolutely.
sure appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us.
And thanks for watching.